We would have had a new NWA television champion if it had not been for Baby Doll. And here they come now. Hey, she saved your life, young man.
Let me tell you what. Where do you see anybody else putting their championship up on national television against the competition that I do?
The new champion.
Yeah, it's just like Oklahoma beat Texas too, right? What the official says and so it goes, and that's exactly right. And I'm still the NWA.
You disqualified. That's the only reason he went through.
The NWA television champion, and that's what counts, David Crockett. Whether you like to get stuff talking to me about it, you want to talk to me about it? Let me tell you what. Two times. Let's get the rules. Bring your rules. I got the rules. You ain't got nothing to get him out of face on television. Don't get him out of face if I want to. I'm ready for it. Wait, let's look for it right there. You what? What are you talking about? You get out of my face. I'll slap you right here. I'll slap you right here. Here's what I want right there.
Hands off of me.
Don't be putting your hands on me.
Why you
Don't you ever. I'll slap you right here.
You wouldn't dare.
I'll slap you right here.
It's against the law, and you wouldn't dare hit a woman.
You stay out of my face. You understand?
Yeah.
You want it right here, you can have it.
Yeah, you can have it right here, too, because I'll give it to you.
All right. We almost had it. Baby Doll again comes to the rescue of Tully Blanchard. She's always there with him.
Let me tell you something, David. Right there, I've seen that. You know, I'm a good judge of horse flesh, being from Texas. I got a ranch, you know what? And I went out and checked my herd. And I found one of them missing. And all was left with a big hole where it ran to. And now I know where it's at. Tully Blanchard, $10,000 TV title. Me and you, Daddy. My rules, your belt, your money, and you tell that perfect zero. If she ever gets in my face again, I'm gonna fly my mama down here to slap her face. Because you just cost Buzz Avalanche Tyler the TV title. Baby Doll, get ready for 1985, Tully Blanchard. I'm taking it all from you, Daddy, right here.
We'll see you next week on the very best Worldwide Wrestling. Place to be Nation Wrestling. Welcome to episode number 44 of NWA Crock and Roll. I am your host, Sean Kidd, and we are kind of in a pause point here where I talked about on our last show that we were going to have kind of like a pause point to kind of breathe and simmer between monthly watches. And so we come up with this concept that is very similar to what we did in the before they were Crockett watches back when we had the great Peacock thing happen. And we're going to do a concept called Pre-Crockett Match Year Spotlight. And every episode we do of these will be a different year, featuring wrestlers that are in current Crockett that we have watched over the last year, so we could kind of get a feel for maybe some of the matches they were doing or some of the feuds that were going on. But the reason why I picked up 1985 was, we started this podcast in April of 85, but plenty of stuff happened before we even got to April of 85. So I thought it'd be a great year to start. And my concept that I would do with this is every year, every time we do one of these episodes, we're going to go backwards. So the next time we do it will be 84. Then we'll do the 83. I think I have it mapped out as far back as 1976. Once we stop there, we'll reboot and go back to 85. So I think it's a really cool concept that will give us an opportunity to watch some different matches outside of the Crockett Zone that maybe we have seen, maybe we haven't seen, but I can tell you for a fact, all these matches tonight, I had not seen any of these, so it's been good for me. So you guys ready to jump right in? 6 matches. So you guys ready to jump right in?
Ready to do it.
All right.
Let's go.
And I forgot to mention, by the way, Dr. G and Scott. I always do the intro. I forgot to. Dr. G is with us. Scott Shiflett is with us. Colum, as you know, is not with us. We taped both episodes at one night, and Colum copped out because of a goddamn Wahoo match. So hopefully he'll be back when we start talking about May. All right. So our first match, we're going to Dallas, and we're going to World Class, and it is for the NWA World Heavyweight title. This takes place on January 19th. 1985. By the way, every single one of these matches, I believe you can find on YouTube for anybody that wants to go back and watch this. So it's Ric Flair versus Terry Gordy, which, again, in 1985, I had no idea this match had happened. But it is for the World Heavyweight title. It is from World Class. It is January 19th, 1985. So Flair comes out in this hot pink robe that I don't think I've ever seen him wear. It's absolutely awesome. Terry looks like he had just come back from the bar in his bomber jacket as the crowd cheers for him on his intro. Flair gets a mixed reaction. Bill Mercer compares Flair, Mercer is the announcer, compares Flair to Gorgeous George, which I really don't see that comparison. But anyway, Billy Jack Haynes comes out with Sunshine, and he comes out and challenges the winner. He goes over and he shakes Terry Gordy's hand, and Flair, he goes to shake Flair's hand, but Flair isn't shaking shit. Flair gets on the mic and says he gets everything he wants. He talks about beating up the Von Erichs, and he talks about cars and planes. And then he gets in Sunshine's face, says he's wanted Sunshine for years. He says to give him a kiss and she will never look at another man again, and she does, and then she slaps him. She tells Flair he has a long way to go. Flair yells, she will regret this, but love this stuff. I love like in the territory, like when he does the territories, I love when it sets up future programs. Like, now you got a program between him and Gordy, or him and Billy Jack Haynes, which, again, I just love when he does the territory stuff. So we get a hot start with Flair chops and Terry press slamming Flair across the ring. Some nice knees to Flair's head, elbows and punches, then throws him upside down in the corner. Flair takes does an eye to escape, rakes the eye to get a sleeper. Flair throws Terry outside. He drops the knee once back in. Then he hits kidney punches. Terry gets pissed off, does some nice jabbing punches, and elbow to Flair. Terry works the arm, and he destroys Flair with a clothesline off the ropes. Gordy gets a small package and a backslide for 2. Flair avoids a pile driver by pushing Terry into the rope. He climbs to the top and actually hits an elbow, and he takes Terry down with a front face lock and hits a nice-looking pile driver. Flair misses a knee, and then Gordy gets a figure 4. Gordy gets a suplex, does a tossing power slam. Gordy gets the Oriental spike, but Flair gets to the ropes. Terry gets a backdrop to Flair out of the corner and then a headbutt. Flair reverses a throw to the corner and lifts Terry up for a back suplex, and Terry kicks off the top rope, which would look pretty cool. Both fall backwards. The ref counts 3 as Flair has his foot on the rope. Terry thinks he's won, but Flair is awarded the match. The crowd is super pissed off. Guys, I thought this match was pretty damn awesome. I thought it was also different than most Flair matches, as he didn't follow his typical formula where it felt like he was somewhat even matched with Gordy versus getting his ass kicked for 20 minutes and then randomly just getting something in between. So I really, really like this. Yeah, it's just, and it never really slowed down, just like real no rest spots. So I actually went 3 1/4 on this. Scott, what about you?
All right, Sean, I told you that there was going to be some times where I'm just dropping stars all over the place.
Yes.
This is one of the times.
Yes.
I really enjoyed this match. Like, I think it's because they went away from, like you said, the quote-unquote the Flair formula. Mm-hmm. So, like, the start of it was just funny as hell with him kissing Sunshine, and she smacked the hell out of him. But there was just so much. I love Gordy. Gordy and Flair had good chemistry. I don't think there's too many more matches. There might be, I'm sure there is, but like they never really had a big sustained feud because I know Gordy was in World Class in Japan, and Flair was, of course, with Crockett. But I just loved how Gordy hit the backslide, and it was a nice callback to Kerry beating Flair with the same move because it was there in Texas. I love that. Even the announcer called it out on that. I like Flair hitting the pile driver with that, and the ending. I just love the ending. It's like Flair gets his shoulder up at the last second with his foot on the rope, and it was just amazing. I went 3 3/4 for this.
Nice, very nice.
I stopped taking notes halfway through because I got so enthralled with the match.
Awesome.
So like my notes are all over the place. Like I literally have nice suplex from Gordy to Like the ending, Flair using top rope to backdrop Gordy and get his shoulder up. But yeah, I just really enjoyed that match.
Yeah, I mean, I might. You know what? I could probably convince to go 3.5 on this. I think I'll change it because I'm with you. I really, really enjoyed this match. Dr. G, what did you think?
I enjoyed it as well. I gave it 3.25 stars. I think what I liked about it is I liked the pre-match stuff.
Yes,
which was really good. The announcing, that's the only thing of him calling out about the backslide or whatever was probably the only good thing that he did. I didn't realize how bad the announcing was in World Class. The other thing I noticed, if you guys didn't notice, they never called it the NWA World Championship. Do you ever notice that?
No, yeah, they in World Class they didn't. They always said the World Heavyweight title. They never said NWA in World Class, which was
I know that they separated too long after this, but I just something I thought I'd point out. And then I remember Billy Jack Haynes being in World Class, but it was for a cup of coffee, and I didn't remember this specific angle. So again, the pre-match stuff definitely added a little bit more to it. And the match itself, one thing I noticed about Terry Gordy, he could move for a big guy. I forgot how good he could move in the ring.
But it's and how early it was. Like even like Gordy, like even in the like early like 82, 83, like he's so young. He's like in his early 20s. It's amazing. You're right.
Yeah.
His moves great.
They seemed like they had a chemistry, even though Gordy was such a big guy, because he could work like a 250 pounder. He really moved around the ring pretty well. And again, it wasn't the typical Ric Flair match, which I agree with you both on, which was really nice. And then the ending, you probably knew Flair wasn't going to lose the belt there, but just the way they did it was kind of cool.
Well, they actually got a finish again. It's like Japan, where territory usually you get the schmaz because they don't want their guy to lose, but you actually got a winner.
Well, you got a winner, and it still and Gordy still looked strong. He didn't look weak in the situation. So I thought it was very well done. 3.25 on that. I have no problems with that. Like, I agree with you, Scott. I don't have many notes because I got into the match and just enjoyed it.
It's okay. I got the notes covered, guys, so just go with the flow. You're good. But yeah, really good match. I would definitely recommend this one and go check it out. I thought it was a really great match. All right, second match. We are going to the AWA, and we are going to Road Warriors versus the High Flyers. Now, the High Flyers, and I know Schiff shits on the High Flyers because it's Greg Gagne, and a lot of people shit on Greg Gagne. What I will tell you is I hadn't watched a lot of High Flyers matches, but on my new pod, before I was a Mark, cheap plug, one of the matches I chose to watch was a High Flyers match, and he took on Tito Santana and Rick Martel before they were even Strikeforce, and it was in the early 80s, and I watched the match, and I was absolutely blown away by the match, and I was absolutely blown away by how good the High Flyers were, specifically Brunzell. Because I think I went 4 stars on that match, Shiflett. I don't remember. You watched it, but I think
You did.
Yeah. And that might have been a little high, but I was just floored by it. It was just a great match. So I was like, all right. So I was doing research for this. All right, see what the Road Warriors are doing. They're the AWA Tag Team Champions. So I found them versus the High Flyers. So I said, why not? Because I would really like to know what you guys would think of the High Flyers as a team, because I loved them, and I was wondering if I was going to feel the same way after watching them in this. So Road Warriors versus High Flyers. So a lot of like pre-match shit here. We start with Greg Gagne and Larry Nelson. I guess I gather it was from the week before, and Greg Gagne is back from a knee injury and blames Ellering for why him and Brunzell aren't champs yet. He maps out the strategy was pretty dumb to do with the Road Warriors, I thought. Like, why would you tell the Road Warriors what you're going to do? Basically, it's take the big guys down, basically. Then we go to a week later, and we're with Nelson, who's now with Brunzell and Gagne. Brunzell goes in about destiny and their style to beat the Road Warriors. Gagne does the whole wrestling on a marquee bullshit promo and says it's wrestling, not bodybuilding. They get control for 15 minutes. They will win, and this will not slip away, and they threaten to beat up Paul Ellering. So that's kind of the pre-match setup. We go to the match. High Flyers come out to a great value song that sounded a lot like it could have been out of a Rocky movie. I had no idea what it was, but it sounded like, literally I thought they thought they were Rocky Balboa coming to the ring. The Warriors come out to Iron Man. I imagine for AWA fans, this is a bit of a dream match as far as face versus heel teams, because the High Flyers are one of their all-time great tag teams. Obviously, the Road Warriors, a great team at this point in time. Warriors look like they could eat the High Flyers as an appetizer, especially Greg Gagne, who Definitely looks way too skinny. They banned Ellering from ringside. Wally Carbo, who I guess is a senior official here in AWA, bans Paul from ringside. Ken Resnick is a ring announcer and sounds very carny in this. If you remember Resnick, he was in the WWF in a short time after this. Clearly, you can hear Hawk yell bullshit as Paul throws a fit after being thrown out. Then Warriors just go to town and beat the shit out of the High Flyers to start, but the Flyers rev up and sent both Road Warriors out of the ring. And also did it with a double drop kick on Hawk, which I thought was good. Crowd went absolutely nuts. Hawk hits a knee on the turnbuckle on a mischarge, and Flyers, based on that knee, go to town on him with quick tags and double teams on the leg, which is a smart strategy. And finally, Hawk, who is it? Animal tags in, weightlift press slam on Gagne. Animal then misses a leg drop, and now the Flyers double team his leg again, which is a smart strategy. Visually, I thought the Flyers' offense made sense to keep the big team at bay. You know, it's typical small team versus big team. Gagne gets with an Indian deathlock, but Animal skates, and then Hawk comes out on fire. He press slams Gagne. He does a bear hug that looks awesome as Hawk takes like his little skinny ass and just wrenches it, which looks like he's just freaking tossing him around. I thought that looked good. The ref gets busy with Animal, and Brenzel hits Hawk, which breaks the bear hug. Gagne gets the tag, and then Bronzel does a drop kick to Hawk. He does a figure four. Animal breaks it up. Hawk loudly calls Bronzel a son of a bitch and then power slams him, which I loved. Animal comes in, does a body slam and an elbow. Then he does a rear chin lock. Bronzel tries to escape, but Hawk tags in and punches him into ribs. Hawk then works him over for a little bit. Bronzel tries to fight back, but is out right back into a chin lock. Then there's a body slam. Hawk misses a clothesline, and Bronzel clobbers him with a stiff high knee to the face. Jim tags in, and the crowd loses it as Gagne gets a sleeper on Hawk. Hawk tries to escape, but Gagne holds on to it. I actually thought Nelson was pretty good saying, so basically what he did is Gagne gets on his back and rides him in the sleeper, which looks visually really good. I thought Nelson was great saying it looked like it's riding at the rodeo, which I thought was a kind of a good comparison. Ref goes to push Jim Bronzel to his corner, and then Paul runs out and goes to the top rope and clobbers Gagne to break the sleeper. The ref turns around, and we get a DQ. That's not the best part, though. Animal throws Jim into the ring post shoulder first, and the trio beats up Gagne, who's bleeding like a stuck pig. There's a shoulder breaker and a double clothesline to Bronzel. Nelson goes crazy for help as the bell keeps ringing. There's a top rope clothesline to Gagne as wrestlers, including Tom Zank and Buck Zumhoff, run in to save. Tom Zank and Buck Zumhoff, of all people, are going to beat up the Road Warriors. Finally, Kurt Hennig and good old Baron Von Raschke break through, sending the Road Warriors and Ellering out of the ring. Gagne is a bloody mess. I'm curious how you guys thought. I fucking love this match from start to finish. I thought the Flyers wrestled a smart match, and I thought the Warriors looked badass. And this is a second Flyers match I've watched in a match 2 months that I've loved. I also thought Nelson and Resnick weren't that bad on commentary. I know, Dr. G, you bring up how these territory guys don't really bring anything to the table. I thought for an AWA, this is pretty good. It's a DQ finish. It knocks it down a bit for me. But I love this match. Yeah, this might be a shit take, but I went 3 1/4. Scott, I'm going to you. I'm sorry.
Jesus
I'm sorry. I went 3 3/4.
Sean, I'm gonna get you a Greg Gagne cameo if he's still alive.
You just hate Greg Gagne. I mean, that's the reality. You hate him.
Okay. Greg Gagne was putting me to sleep in his pre-match promo, so that maybe I wasn't in the best of moods.
Yes, the promo sucked, but I thought the match itself was pretty damn good, and I don't care if you don't think so or not. But go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm just jumping. I know it was Dr. G's, but I'm just jumping. I did like how the High Flyers were using their speed to keep the Road Warriors off balance at first, and how they were working the Road Warriors' legs because you can't move if you don't have your legs. It was smart. Brunzel seemed like the star of the team, so maybe I just do hate Greg Gagne, okay?
You really do. In private chats, you've been very, very critical of what Mr. Greg Gagne.
The match did seem a little long in the tooth. It was almost a 20-minute match, which I love the Road Warriors, but they should not be going 20 minutes. The ending I didn't like. I was shocked that Ellering did that jump from the top rope because you've always heard how he had to stop wrestling because he blew out his knees, and that seems like something where you can hurt your knees. But hey, good for you, Ellering. I went 2 3/4 for this, so we're a whole star apart. But
it's all right. I mean, it's not that terrible of a far apart. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's because you knocked it down a star because of Greg Gagne. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, I fell asleep the first 5 minutes because of his promo where he's like, "There's wrestling on the marquee."
I don't blame you for shitting on the promo. The promo is not the match. Dr. G, what did you think?
Oh gosh, Scott, you crack me up because I can't stand Greg Gagne either.
God damn it.
But to be honest with you, seeing this on paper, I was like, is this really going to be a good match? But I was quite surprised. I went 2 3/4 as well. But I will say this. Yeah, I agree. In this match, I thought Brunzell definitely did a better job. But I love the way they cut the ring in half. Mm-hmm. They worked on the Road Warriors' legs. They worked very well as a team. You could tell Brunzell and Gagne have teamed a lot. You know, they definitely work well, but I agree with you, especially like listening to the promo. It doesn't do anything for you, but I was surprised at the length of the match when I did see how long
because
it was.
Because it's a Road Warriors match, right?
It was a Road Warriors match, but the Road Warriors still looked pretty strong in it. That's I was worried about that. And at the ending, I love the ending where Gagne was bleeding and he threw Brunzell up against the ring post at the end. But and the announcers did try to make a point because Brunzell wasn't bleeding, that it probably hit his shoulder, which I thought was pretty good because you're wondering, okay, why is Gagne bleeding, but the other guy who gets his head into a pole isn't bleeding. So yeah, the announcing was a little bit better than before, but I definitely I love watching the Road Warriors. So,
I will tell you, they were fantastic in this. Like, we've watched a few Road Warriors
matches.
They
held their own in this match.
Yeah.
I have to.
And pre-Crockett matches we watched before they got to Crockett, I don't think we've watched a bad one yet. Because we've watched with the Long Rider. We've seen a couple ones where they've done really, really great. So I thought they looked badass in this. And by the way, Schiff, I thought you would have given higher stars just for the sheer fact that Greg Gagne was a bleeding stuck pig. But I did love at the end where he was trying to be a fiery babyface, like he was going to whoop somebody's ass, but he looked like he could, it's like that nerd in school that weighs like 20 pounds, like when he's soaking wet, and he's all bleeding, trying to be like this big fiery babyface. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like when everyone's like holding him back, and he's like, "Oh, let me at him." It's like, no, dude, you've already gotten your ass beat once. Like,
get out of my way, Tom Zink and Zoomhoff and Von Raschke. I'm gonna go kick Animal's ass. Yeah, okay, go sit down.
Z-Man, get out of the way.
Yeah, it's so great. But anyway, all right, we'll agree to disagree on how great this match, but I can accept 2 3. That's 2. What you said, 2 3/4, right? That's a lot better than I would imagine either one of you would have gone. So I'll accept it, and we'll move on. So, all right. So our third match tonight, another tag team match. This one's from Mid-South. It is a Rock and Roll Express versus the Fabulous Freebirds. So we get another Terry Gordy match, which is great. And this is for 624.85. This is actually about 2 weeks from the Rock and Roll Express debut in Crockett when they win the tag team belts from Koloff that we covered off in July 85. So this is only a few weeks away from that. So I kind of like, all right, well, let's go see what's going on here. Bruce Pritchard is the ring announcer. There's lots of rock and roll chants as they come to the ring. Robert and Buddy start exchanging holds. Robert gets a nice armbar as he holds, as he also has Buddy in a head scissors as he lifts off the ground. So it's kind of a cool like combo arm scissors, like armbar leg scissors things. Or head scissors I thought was pretty cool. Ricky and Terry then tag in. Ricky ducks a Gordy body press, but Robert tags in and Gordy gets a suplex. The Birds double team Robert. Morton runs in and attacks Buddy, but the ref pushes him back, allowing Terry to hit Robert. Ricky gets a tag and throws Buddy to the corner hard. He hits a jumping headlock between his knees, and then there's a front face lock. Morton misses a charge to the corner, and his arm collides with the post. Gordy comes in and does a clothesline. Terry hits a second row body press on a Ricky corner throw. Buddy hits a bulldog for 2. Gordy drops Ricky throat first on the top rope. He manhandles him over the top with no padding, and that looked pretty rough. The Birds continue to tag in and out and work over Ricky. Ricky reverses a Buddy pile driver, and there's a hot tag. Robert takes on both with drop kicks with knees and punches. Ricky in, and Robert gets a roll-up on Buddy, but Terry comes in and gives Robert like a really disgustingly sick-looking sloppy pile driver that, to me, looked like it should have broke his neck as the ref pushes Morton back to the corner, and this gets the 3 count, so the Freebirds win. Honestly, guys, I don't know how Robert didn't die in that pile driver. I thought the match was solid. With standard Ricky Morton, Rock and Roll Express face and peril with the hot tag routine. I'm not going to lie. I thought the match dragged at times and not as fast paced as most rock and roll matches. And to me, it felt somewhat house show up until the end where Robert almost died. It was still good. And Terry Gordy has been a beast in 2 matches so far this episode. I actually went 2 3/4 on this. Dr. G, what do you think? Dr. G?
I went 2.5 on it.
Okay.
I agree with you. There were times that it dragged. I was actually shocked at the ending. I have to be honest.
They were doing the job on the way out of the territory.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right. They were leaving. Okay. Now good point. My bad on that one. But yeah, when I saw that pile driver, I was like, how the heck did he not get hurt?
That was disgusting, that pile driver.
But yeah, the typical Rock and Roll Express match. But yeah, like you said, it felt a little bit like a house show, and then towards the end, it got a little better. I mean, obviously, there's nothing offensive about it at all. But you looked at this, you would think maybe we're gonna get a 3.5, 4-star match with these two teams. Especially with Gordy. Gordy's really, really, at his peak at this point.
I'm gonna blame Buddy. If Hayes had been in it, it probably would have been better.
But I definitely like the 2.5 stars for that.
Sounds good. It's solid. That's good. I like I said, I went 2 3/4. I'm not far off from you. Scott, what'd you think?
I went 3.
Okay.
The match started a little slow for me, but it picked up. I loved the monkey flip to Buddy from Morton early on. I really liked that. I loved surprisingly Gibson was also a babyface in peril, so like they had both of them worked over, Gibson and Morton, which I really liked. With both of them being punished, I guess that makes sense with them leaving the territory. We got to show them what's going on. They tried to do the pile driver earlier, and Morton reversed it, which I thought was really nice. And he made the hot tag off the reversal of the pile driver, so it was very good. I thought Gibson was dead with that pile driver. Gordy maybe should hold off on not doing that.
Hey, so Schiff, I have a good Schiff comment on that pile driver, by the way.
Okay.
Said now we know why Robert Gibson's eyes are crossed. I figured you'd appreciate that. That's a total Schiff comment, by the way.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. He hit him so hard it knocked a few screws loose. But no, it was just it was a good match. This is sort of like dream match territory because I didn't realize they ever really crossed paths. I know they were in WCCW, but I just always assumed that. So
in 1990 they start feuding again, right?
Yeah, but that's not the real.
No. It's Hayes and Garvin versus.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was surprised to find this match because I didn't think they had that many matches together. So this was kind of cool to find, I thought. So, so you went 3, I went 2 3/4, and Dr. G went 2.5. So pretty symmetrical there, right? So I think we're all on point with that. So, but yeah, if you want to go see a really disgusting pile driver, go seek the end of this match out. It might be one of the most grossest pile drivers I've ever seen in my life that was botched. Anyway, all right.
It also botched Robert Gibson's eyes.
It did. Yeah. COVID eye began with that pile driver. That's what happened. So, all right. So our 4th match. So this one was interesting for me. So when we started this podcast, Buzz Tyler was the Mid-Atlantic champion. And the running joke was we never really ever saw Buzz Tyler except for one match at the Great American Bash, 85. And then he was gone, but he was the Mid-Atlantic champion and we never saw him. Dr. G, you remember us talking, always giving him a hard time because we had no idea who Buzz Tyler was, right? So I figured, look at this. I go to January 85, and it's Tully Blanchard versus Buzz Tyler for the TV title. I was like, finally, we'll get to watch a full Buzz Tyler match, so this should be interesting. Hey, Scott, had you ever heard of Buzz Tyler?
Just from this podcast when I was listening as a fan.
All right, so here we go. So first thing, Tyler comes out to Footloose, and again, no music rights in Crockett in 1985, and did anyone else think Buzz Tyler looked absolutely ridiculous trying to dance to Footloose? That was the first.
I loved it. It made me a fan of him. His goofy ass white boy dancing to Footloose.
Hey,
I was just like,
here's my exact note. I know when I think Footloose, I think fat Kenny Loggins looking like Buzz Tyler. That's what I knew it was.
My note was Buzz dancing is amazing.
All right. Well, we're on two different spectrums here. All right. Baby Doll has words with Buzz. This version of the TV title, this is before they transferred to our beloved versions. It looked like a duplicate copy of one of the old Southern heavyweight titles from Memphis. It's what got like that design and small. Buzz starts off with a few hip tosses for quick twos. Again, per normal Crockett arenas when they're in high schools, fucking crowd is crazy as usual. At this point, Tully has held the TV title longer than anyone, we find out. Buzz with knees to Tully to his side and midsection. Tyler with a nice lifting knee to the gut on Tully. David Crockett mentions a Kernodle Steamboat versus Koloff match from last week, which, by the way, will be our final match we watch tonight because I found out about that match to watch after watching this match. So good job, David Crockett. Tully fights back with elbows to the back of the neck, then leans backwards on a chin lock. Tyler actually bridges back to pin Tully, but Tully gets out and takes it to a side chin lock and numerous neck holds from there. Tully sends Buzz outside. Buzz trips Tully on his way back in and does mounting punches. Then he misses an elbow. Tully goes to the top rope and he's punched on the way down. There's a neck breaker for 2. Buzz keeps trying to hold Tully down for a pin, but Tully resists. There's a knee and punches to the gut off ropes. Another lifting gut to knee. So that was good. Tully keeps avoiding pins as Buzz tries to strengthen his way to pins. There's hard punches by Buzz. Buzz goes for an elbow, but Tully lifts his knees. Buzz reverses a suplex for 2. There's a punch. There's a punch to Tully out of the corner, and then again knees to the kidneys. David Crockett sounds very cooked out of his mind, screaming "Baby Doll" was in tears at the punishment Tully was taken. By the way, guys, I don't know if you know this or not. This was Baby Doll's first official appearance by Tully's side. So I forgot to mention that. I forgot to mention that. Yep. Tully gets up to the second rope elbow to the neck for 2. Buzz gets up and there's a knees to Tully's head. Buzz does an Oklahoma slam and Baby Doll gets up on the apron and distracts asshole Tommy Young, so Buzz only gets a 2. Buzz hits another Oklahoma slam and Baby Doll runs in and stops the count and tosses Tommy Young as crowd goes insane as Tyler and Baby Doll stand face to face yelling at each other. Tully knees Buzz from behind and sends him outside and beats him up outside with elbows and throws him into the railing and then walks out as crowd boos. He goes over to the interview station and Crockett's standing there and Tully and Baby Doll is with him. Crockett goes nuts blaming Baby Doll for costing Buzz the TV title. Dusty comes out in his black hat in a trench and the two argue. Baby Doll gets in front of Tully and yells at Dusty, and Dusty says he will slap her right here. Tully pulls Baby Doll away and Dusty challenges Tully to the TV title for $10,000. Says Baby Doll gets in his way, he will fly home here. He'll fly his mom here to slap her. There's a hot crowd now, and here's what's really great. We get the first appearance of Baby Doll, and now we see how Dusty and Tully began their feud here in January of '85 to where we picked it up in April. And again, this was a really good, solid TV title defense. I thought he made Buzz look good. I went 2.5. I could probably go a little bit higher, but I loved every minute of it from start to finish. So, Scott, I'll go to you first.
I love this match. This is my first time seeing Buzz Tyler, and as we mentioned before, seeing his goofy ass dance in the Footloose was just amazing.
You're an idiot.
I really am.
I really am. You're an idiot. Okay, go ahead.
I was shocked at how it was all Buzz at first, but then Tully is so smooth. He was on his knees and hit Buzz with the forearm so hard in his gut that he went to the ground. And after that, it was all Tully. He was working the neck. And I like how it was back and forth. We have a nice neck breaker from Buzz as well. And like you brought up, like Tyler hit a vicious knee drop to Tully before he was going into the finishing sequence. And then Baby Doll with the interruption. Like I was shocked. I just figured Tully was going to win. So this keeps some shine on Buzz as well. I went 3.25. I really thought this match was really good. It blew me away. I thought you sent us the list of matches. I thought this was going to be the dud, even with Tully, but it wasn't. I wanted to see more of this. I wanted to see more of Buzz Tyler as well.
I could convince him to go up 2 3/4. I actually went 2.5 because I thought you'd shit all over it and I didn't want to get yelled at. So
no, 3.25 for me.
Yeah.
I told you these are all over the place. I must have been in a good mood.
Yeah. So, but again, Dr. G, not only the match, but from an historical context standpoint, the start of Dusty versus Tully that we pick up in April and the first appearance of Baby Doll. What did you think of all this?
Well, yeah, that's thank you for letting me know about the Baby Doll. I didn't realize that was the first time. So this all kind of puts it in perspective and you see how everything grew. I have to be honest with you, seeing this on paper, I was not I was kind of like, yeah, this is kind of boring. What is this?
You and me both.
You know, I figured out Tully would, do a decent job, but I have to be honest with you, it was a really entertaining match, and Buzz Tyler could go. Good hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I went 2 3/4 stars on it.
All right. So yeah, pretty solid match here. Again, you get these matches on the syndicated shows that randomly you just find a hidden gem, and it's just pretty neat to watch. It's especially with Tully. Like, remember one of the first matches we watched were him versus Don Kernodle for the TV title in May of '85. That's still one of my all-time favorite matches. So again, like I said on our last show, you can't not at least check out the syndicated shows like Worldwide or Mid-Atlantic, because you might miss a really good hidden gem. And I really was surprised how good I really liked this match. And regardless of if he's a goofy dancing motherfucker, I'd still like to see more of Buzz Tyler. Maybe we could check out some 84. And we do have 84 coming next month, so I don't know if I have a Buzz Tyler match on there or not, but I have to check him out some more. So, all right. So from that, we go to match number 5. So this one, another very historical match, which literally is a week prior to Crockett launching. And you get to see Wahoo McDaniel versus Magnum TA in a cage for the U.S. title. And this is also on the syndicated Worldwide show on March 30th, 1985. As I said, this match took place the week prior to us starting the pod. Wahoo had been a heel for some time. And I don't know if you know this or not, though, Dr. G. Wahoo was in cahoots with Tully Blanchard, and Wahoo had actually been feuding with Ric Flair at this point as a heel. So the transition we're seeing now when we get to April and how they switch off, you don't see Wahoo again after this match. I think this was his goodbye match up until we see him again in November at Starrcade, but pretty historical match here. So Wahoo, again, Wahoo had been a heel here for some times, and TA was a top contender. Tony Schiavone and David Crockett debate if people respect or fear Wahoo. The first question I had was, Colin, which one do you think it is? But he's not here to answer that. Magnum TA gets an arm drag to allow pop. Wahoo with a headlock and does a side move to hide from ref to kick TA in the nuts, which I thought was pretty funny. TA is having none of it, though, and punches Wahoo and hits a forearm for 2. The crowd, again, is absolutely lit and bonkers. TA works the arm. He hits a double drop kick for 2. Foot on ropes, I guess, counts in Crockett cages because the foot on the ropes, he quit counting. There's chops and elbows between the two. Wahoo is thrown into the cage. Magnum softens up Wahoo's head with foot scrapes, punches, and headbutt. Wahoo then pulls TA by the tights head first into the cage, and TA is bleeding. As he keeps trying to fight out of Wahoo pins, Wahoo does a slam and chops to the head. There's a small package for 2, and then takes TA's head to the turnbuckle, and again scrapes his knee to the head. TA then mule kicks Wahoo down out of the corner. Wahoo climbs rope to cage up the cage, but TA hits an amazing back suplex for really, really high on the big man, which again I thought looked really good. Was surprised to actually see Wahoo take that bump. Wahoo gets up and he chops and backbreaker Magnum and does elbows for 2. Wahoo does a shoulder block off the ropes, goes for another, and TA hits a belly to belly out of nowhere for 3. Historic moment here. Seems like kind of a send-off for Wahoo as he recently just turned. Just basically, again, it seems like because he recently full-time just returned in our current timeline. So this is kind of a send-off. I think he went off to Florida after this. But yeah, that back suplex off the turnbuckle and that belly to belly was pretty great. The rest of the match I thought was pretty damn good, but man, David Crockett and the crowd made it feel like a 5-star banger. I think I was gone 2 3/4 on it but for historical context, I'm going to go 3. I also think it's interesting, this match and prior match, they feel like resets. Like Tully Blanchard and Dusty was the reset going into April, and I feel like this match is a reset to get the focus on Magnum TA. So can almost feel like it's setting up for the Crockett that we start seeing in April. So, G, I'll go to you first. What'd you think of this?
I went 2 3/4 stars. I mean, probably one of the better matches we've seen Wahoo in.
Correct. Yes.
Probably ever, I guess, since we've been doing
with the exception of that Ric Flair match in Florida that Colin hated. I thought that was better, but that's okay. That's okay.
But I thought this one was pretty. Again, you see the building up of TA. You see with Wahoo leaving. You're right. I think he went to Florida, and that's when I think he won their version of the U.S. Tag Titles with Billy Jack Haynes. I think.
And then we saw him again in November when they came back to defend those, or they came back to take on the Andersons in the national title.
I definitely, and you see like I said, the ascension of TA. Before, and now we're getting to see the really meaty stuff of his career now. But I think, Wahoo, put him in a cage, brawl. You're not looking for any scientific kind of match. That's the kind of match he needs to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised that I was going to rate this high. It would have been interesting to see what Callum would have rated it.
You know what? I might go out of my way to say, hey, Colin, I know you missed the show, but can you watch this match? Because I want to get your thoughts on our next episode. So I'll actually reach out to him and say, hey, I would really like to hear your thought on it.
Got to find out.
Yep. All right. Scott, what'd you think?
Well, I'm glad Callum's not on because I think he would have just exited our call. I really liked this match. I thought it was a banger. I loved Magnum. He headbutted Wahoo at one point, and he sold it after that like he had headbutted a Samoan, which was really cool because like we're always like WWF's like Samoans have the hard head. That's why you don't headbutt them. He did that. He did like the selling after he gave a headbutt to Wahoo. I just loved it. Like I don't know. I must have been in like a great mood. Like I love when Wahoo was like chopping the hell out of Magnum.
Yeah, Scott, the match isn't bad at all. I mean,
it's
not bad.
But like the backdrop from the top, I bid on when that for the 2, and I loved how Magnum hit the belly to belly out of nowhere, sort of like the RKO or the Diamond Cutter, and we got the new champ, and like that might be the Crockett strokeout moment. I went 4 stars.
What?
Yeah.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, Scott. I mean, 4 stars?
Yeah.
Dr. G, any thought on the 4 stars?
I don't know if I would have gone 4 stars, but I enjoyed the match. But Scott, I'm shocked. I knew you would like the match, but I didn't think you'd go that high.
Dr. G is such a nice man because
I know.
That's Scott. Come on, really?
I just don't know why. Like it spoke to me, Sean. I enjoyed the shit out of it.
I mean, I liked it, but again, I mean, it wasn't anything like. Anyway, okay, great. I'll take it. Normally, I'm going to 4 stars, and you're giving me shit. I guess we're on the opposite end of the spectrum on this one.
It's concerning.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll move on from that 4-star banger, according to Scott, and we'll do our.
I mean, if you said 3.5, 3
3.25, 3.5, yeah. But if Schiff, the bottom line is, if you enjoyed it, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So our last match tonight, which again, one of those things that I'm like, Jesus, really? This happened? Don Kernodle and Ricky Steamboat versus the Koloss. And this is from a week prior to the Tully Buzz match we watched. So, and this is a flag match, which in the end didn't really mean much because you still won by a pinfall, but pretty big match. And by the way, guys, historical context, as it was Baby Doll's first appearance the week after, this is Steamboat's last appearance in Mid-Atlantic as he's heading to the WWF right after this match.
Yeah, Steamboat has actually talked about this on a couple of podcasts that he left because he felt he wasn't one of Dusty's guys because like he would have these like time limit draws with Tully for like the TV title.
Well, he wrestled at Starrcade and Tully got the win on that match too. So now he's in a random match with Kernodle against the Koloss. So I could see why he's probably not happy.
Yeah, and but he would like do like the 5-minute thing, and like there would still be a draw after 5 minutes. Like, oh, we need another 5 minutes, and then he beat it, and then then Dusty would have Tully beat within like the time limit, and someone would interfere. So it was like, well, he was making me look like I was a joke. So that was one of the reasons why he left.
You know, it's pretty amazing if you really think about Dusty Rhodes booking. Steamboat really doesn't fit the mold if you really think about it.
No, he really doesn't.
Yeah, so that's interesting though. But yeah, this is his last match. He's out after this. Kernodle is in his neck brace, which is good because if you remember Starrcade 84, he was at ringside when Ole and his brother took on the Koloss then. But he's still selling. He still has the neck brace on. So nice continuity here a few months later. So the fans in this are ridiculously hot. The faces light it up to start, and Steamboat is on fire with chops to both Nikita and Ivan. Steamboat works over Ivan over in a chin hold. Kernodle distracts Nikita, who runs in. That costs Ivan a tag, as Nikita is not in the corner to make the tag, which I thought was pretty good. Kernodle and Nikita in, and a Kernodle hits a back suplex. Steamboat tags in, does a shot to Nikita from a top and a clothesline. Nikita taking some bumps in this one. Nikita has not been the greatest bumper, but he does pretty good in this match. Nikita tosses Kernodle into Ivan's knee, and Ivan starts working the neck, and it's a neck breaker and a clothesline. Russian takes turn working over Kernodle's neck. Kernodle's popularity in wrestling still cracks me up because, he's really good in the ring, and he really doesn't look like your, typical wrestler, but he's really over in here. I know if you look at the other three in the ring, he just kind of seems like the peg in the square that doesn't fit, but he does. Nikita hits a sickle. Kernodle plays the face in peril for a really long time, taking some abuse to his neck. Ivan then misses a sickle, and Kernodle hits a neck breaker, but he hurts his neck, and the abuse continues. Kernodle keeps fighting, but stopped at every turn. Kernodle goes up to the top rope, but Steamboat lifts Ivan up for a back suplex, and Kernodle does a top clothesline into the back suplex, which was really random because Steamboat didn't even tag in, he just ran in. Tommy counts 3, and the crowd goes crazy. The faces beat up the Russians until Crusher runs in, and he and Nikita beat up on Don. Steamboat grabs a flagpole and chases him off. Really weird ending to Steamboat. Wasn't really a factor for 90% of the match. Maybe they already knew he was leaving, but he just suddenly comes in when he wants, and asshole ref Tommy Young just lets him do it to let Kernodle win. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense. I thought Kernodle was an awesome babyface in peril, and seems like a nice big moment for him because I think this is like one of the last angles he was a really big part of to close out this feud with the Russians. So I went 2.5 on it. I thought there was just long work on Kernodle. And Steamboat wasn't really a factor, and that disappointed me again in this a little bit. But again, this was a feud ending, and with Steamboat leaving, again, feels like another brick in resetting on our way to April. So some matches really put some context into where we ended up in April, and I thought that's why tonight I really enjoyed these matches because I got some historical value out of knowing where we were at as we were transitioning. So Dr. G, I'll go to you first. I went 2.5 on this. What'd you think?
I went 2.25 on it. You're right. I love watching Steamboat go. I would have loved to have seen a little bit more of that. I like the continuity with Kernodle with the neck break. Mm-hmm. I forgot about so that kind of helped. And
that's why I'm here, Dr. G.
That's why we love you so much, Sean.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Go ahead.
No, but I probably would have gone a little bit higher, but I just felt like at times it was just a little bit of dragging a little bit in the middle of it. And
Nikita is so green. Nikita is so green. So green.
He is very green. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he just had the package of being that intimidating character, but he definitely, when you go back and see this, and even though you don't think he improved, but now when you go back and watch something before we started doing the watches, you're like, okay, well, he did kind of improve a little bit, maybe not to great extent, but definitely better than he was in this match.
Yep. Scott, what'd you think? Let me guess. 4 stars.
You're not far off.
Well, Jesus Christ. All right, go ahead.
So I really like this match. I loved at the start where I love when the partners get Irish whipped into to each other. Like it's reversed and they're Irish whipped. I just love that spot. I love how Ricky at first was like basically like doing his arm drags that he's famous for. And Crockett was actually losing his mind when Ricky was doing that. I love how when they brought in Kernodle, like they were working over the knee and they isolated Kernodle, but like here's what I have a problem with. And like the psychology of working the neck was great. I didn't even know that he had that injury, so that was very nice. I loved when this is like another, I guess, Crockett stroke out moment when Kernodle can't get tagged in. David just screams out no, like he's being like stabbed in the heart by his like.
David Crockett was amazing in this match. I mean, no doubt.
So I think it added something to it for me. I did not like the blue balling of the hot tag, essentially. Like, we're waiting for it. And like you said, Ricky just runs in. It's like, what are we doing type situation.
You know what? Yeah, I think he ran in because he's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to Connecticut. Fuck this shit. That's what he did.
Sorry,
Scott. I didn't mean to throw you off.
But I loved how they threw Nikita out of the ring, and Kernodle's like, let's do what they did to me, because that's what even Crockett even says when they do that move, and like he just comes down on his neck, and we get the 1, 2, 3 with Kernodle, getting the pin, but then they lose their heat immediately after. So I guess Dusty is booking with Kernodle and Steamboat getting Kernodle getting beat up, and then Steamboat comes in. And this is for you, Dr. G. He's swinging the flag like he's Aaron Judge, and if he would have connected with someone, he probably would have killed them, because he was swinging that flag like no other. But I went 3.5. I had it as 3 3/4 until like the lack of hot tag, because they were building up to it. They would have blown the roof off of that high school or wherever the hell they were.
At the high school gym, they were echoing off the basketball.
Yeah.
That's... Scott, were you drunk when you watched tonight's matches?
No, I wasn't. I watched them at different times.
I had the hardest time on this show out of everybody. I had the hardest time trying to figure out, the mojo of rhythm on how you view your matches, because you're all over the board and I can't figure it out. And I think I don't know if it frustrates me or if it keeps me interested. I haven't figured it out yet.
I don't really figure it out either, Sean, because like I'll be watching a match and like this shit sucks, and then like you guys like do like your stars, and I was like, okay, so but then there's other ones like, oh, this is 2.5 star, and I'm like, this match was awesome, 3.5. Like
it's weird. Like you surprised me on the Japan match on the last episode. The 4 stars on the Wahoo blows my mind, and honestly, this one, I'm stunned. Stunned.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's like the crowd or like, the announcers hyping it up and it just adds to it. It's just like I get stuck as like a kid again, and I'm like just losing my mind as I'm watching it.
You know what it is? You also overrated several matches in the Crockett Cup, but I think a couple of you did too. But that's just me.
I'm sorry.
Normally,
no commentary.
Normally, I'm the one that overrates. By the way, that Sheepherder's Fantastics match is great, but it's not an all-timer like Meltzer said it was. I'm just being honest.
I know, but I loved it.
I liked it too, but I mean, anyway, that's we're past that now. We're moving on. I think because here's what I'm going to say for you. I think it's because we spent the last 3 episodes prior to the last episode watching Crockett Cup matches that really not a lot of them set your world on fire. I think you got some good shit in this, and it fired you up. That's what I'm going to go.
It really did. It really did, and like. To be honest, I've been watching like some wrestling, but not that much. But like, so watching the stuff again just like rejuvenated me, and I'm like, holy shit, wrestling's amazing. So
all right. So any final thoughts, Dr. G? Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Well, I will tell you this. There was not one bad match in these 6 matches.
Not a one, and I was greatly appreciative of that, by the way.
Yes, I mean, I have to be honest. I mean, I know when you're picking them, you don't really totally know until you watch them, but you did a pretty decent job. So,
honestly, I did watch all these matches prior to picking them. I did. So this time I did. But 85. I mean, 85 was good from the start. I mean. Clearly, even as we jumped into April. So next time we do this kind of episode it's going to be four episodes after this, because May is 4 episodes. Thank God it's not 7. It is 4. But when we do this episode again, we'll be doing 1984. So we'll see if 1984 can keep up with what we saw in 1985. I will tell you about 1984. A lot of people call that the year of transition, where you see a lot of like the old timers, the Assassins and Angela Mosca and all that. You see a lot of transition in 84 into 85. So that'll be interesting. Scott, especially for you, I'll be curious to see if the matches I pick in 84 hold up for you the same way that these 85 matches did.
Yeah, it should be interesting, because like I've heard the same thing about it, about Crockett in 84, where it's like, like that's when Dory Funk, I'm pretty sure, is booking, and it's just not good. Like that's when they were losing money big time.
Yeah, it really is. It's 84. I've watched some of it. There's actually a YouTube channel that's called The Year of Transition. It's like 195 different parts where they do like 10-minute blips, kind of like what we do on this show, but they do it on YouTube, where they take all the like syndicated shows that show what happened in '84, people that left, people that came in, and let me tell you something. There was some there's some tough stuff to watch in that. So tough stuff. So let's talk about our next episode. So our next episode, we are finally getting into May. And so on our last episode, we talked about the end of April and all the different angles that transition into May. So this, let me give you a little bit of a preview. So in May, part 1. So let me tell you what do you think about this? So we have Kernodle versus Arn Anderson for the TV title from Mid-Atlantic. What do you think of that, Scott?
Well, I'm all in after seeing this last Kernodle match, and Arn always brings it. So hopefully I get to see a gourd buster.
All right. And then we go to that's on Mid-Atlantic. Then on Worldwide, we get a whole episode of Worldwide dedicated to Tully versus Garvin for the national heavyweight title.
Ooh, Tully versus Garvin. Ooh.
The whole episode of that show is Tully versus Garvin.
Does it take place at Tully's house in the middle of the night?
No, but I'm pretty sure it'll take place in a high school where the crowd will be absolutely batshit.
That already loses a star for it not being a home invasion.
And our territory spotlight match. We're going back to world class. Bruiser Brody versus Rick Rude. What do you think of that?
Rick Rude. Wow, okay.
Rick Rude versus Bruiser Brody from world class.
That should be interesting.
Yeah, so those are a couple of the matches we'll watch in between the angles and stuff, but that's all coming up in May part 1. May is a very hot month, and there's some really big developments in the Baby Doll Cornette stuff as well, so it'll be great to talk about. So I know Dr. G had to step out for a minute. Are you back? He's still on mute, so he's probably not back. But
I'm back.
Okay, so before we go, again, I really enjoy these like match watches, so I'm glad they were good. Next time we do this after May, we'll talk about 1984. So we'll look at that. And then Schiff and I, by the time we get to the end of May, we might have something a little special for episode number 50. We're still talking about it. I don't want to make any promises, but Schiff, I think you and I have a pretty good idea of concept of what we want to do for episode 50 based on where we'll be in a few weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't want to, just in case plans change, pal. But we'll see what happens. But
Yeah,
I'm feeling good things.
Hopefully it works out. Hopefully, maybe our friend Fat Rad doesn't throw us out of something. But it should be good if we can figure it out how to do it. Anyway, before we go, Dr. G, anything you would like to plug?
Yes, you can listen to me. You were cracking me up tonight. You can listen to me on this NWA Saturday special, which drops every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. with my co-host, the Podfather himself, Scott Criscolo. We break down the NWA. We're getting ready for Always Ready in a couple of weeks. And you know what? There's always some great things going on in the current NWA. I'm enjoying that probably more than any of the wrestling promotions right now.
Yeah, I have enjoyed the current NWA. I'm comparable to Impact. Impact's been pretty damn good lately too, but I feel like current day NWA and the Saturday special, guys, go listen to it. Don't go listen to the Great Value one that the NWA has by those idiots. But I feel like they're catching a groove and they're starting to get some pretty decent stars from the indies in there now. And whether they stay or go is one thing, but at least they're getting them on their pay-per-view, which is really good. So I will sign off on that. I'll sign off on that. I still think Colby Carino is already the champion. I heard your Saturday special this weekend, but we'll see what happens. Scott, how about you?
Yeah, I can be found on Twitter at Scott_Shiflet, and you can check me out on YouTube Roulette. Blockbuster Rewind will be making its grand return, coming back with that with a little bit of a format change, so that's fun on the pop feed.
Is it still 6 hours?
No, it will not be 6 hours.
Okay,
only three and a half. Only
That's
3.5.
better. That's better. Good.
And we will be also doing the Pop Goes to the Couch. We will be doing some of these summer series if we find the time. But it's a hot summer with The Boys, Obi-Wan, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and Stranger Things. So crazy times ahead, guys.
2 of those I might miss. We'll see.
Okay.
Can you figure out which 2? Can you figure out which 2?
Miss Marvel and Stranger Things.
Probably. But you know what? I'll give them a shot because I'm a fair guy. And I enjoy doing that pod. I enjoy doing that pod with you guys. So I'd probably just jump on just to do it anyway, even if I didn't want to watch it. So, but anyway, guys, as far as me, you can find me on Twitter at NWA Crock and Roll. Schiff already brought up YouTube Roulette. And I'll plug one more time for me, the Pod Blast that I do, typically 15 to 20 minutes before I was a mark, where I just pick random matches throughout the history of wrestling that I never watched prior to my wrestling fandom in '86. So I have a wide variety of matches. I've actually mapped it out for at least 30 episodes, and there's some freaking stuff on there that I didn't even know existed, and probably many of you didn't know existed either, unless your name is Pete Schumacher, who's probably watched them all. But anyway, I am Sean Kidd. He is Scott Shiflett. And for Dr. G, we will see you in 2 weeks when we finally begin May of 1986, and we can officially close out and move on into our second year of looking at Crockett after 2 years of doing this podcast. So we'll talk to you guys all then. Thanks, everybody.